just my hair as it would like dry normally. So first things first, I'm going to divide the front section of my hair and I'm going to brush it all downwards so it's straight, so we can get an idea of how it's going to look after, instead of like doing it with all of our hair down. With a round brush and blow dryer, I'm just going to blow dry it downwards. And if you have naturally straight hair, you can also just do it with your hands. I'm just going to use the round brush to straighten out these curls, but the idea is not that it's super straight, so don't use a straightener or something like that. It's just like naturally straight. You don't want to give volume with this, so you don't want to do this and like do volume. You always want to do it like touching your head. Does that make sense? Leave me in the comments if I'm making any sense. Okay, I think that's enough. It's already dry. Please make sure that you're doing this with dry hair. I got a few comments in my Spanish video that they cut their bangs with wet hair. That's completely fine, but I'm telling you, if you cut your bangs with wet hair, you have a big chance to do it too short after you blow dry it, and you're not going to like it. Now that we have everything in front, we need to divide what we're going to actually use in our bangs. Because I already had bangs before, I already know like more or less where it is. If you've never had and your hair is long, you need to decide how far away you want your bang to start. The more hair you put in, the more heavy it's going to look, and also the less hair you're going to have in your back. Keep that in mind. I don't usually go for a very heavy bang because what I like is for it to be like flowy and a little bit more piecey, and you know, that depends on you and your hair and how you like it. So for me, it's going to be probably around here. I'm going to divide this. Here we go. So this I'm going to put in the back. I'm not going to use this, and this is what I'm going to work with. So you can see this is too long. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put everything to the front, but I already know that this is like the thickest part, that like I don't want more hair than that. I'm going to use the arch of my brow to guide myself where I want the bang. So just take off the hair, like the arch of the eyebrow is going to be the end of the bang. Okay, so take that hair off, boom. Same here. Take that hair off. From here to the thickest part, I'm going to start doing a triangle. So I already know this is going to be the end. So I'm going to do a triangle that goes that way. And this, I'm not going to use. I'm not going to put it in the back, just in case. I am going to put it behind my ear. And can you see how like weird shaped this triangle is? So you want to make this triangle as symmetric as possible to make sure that you have like enough hair in both sides. Okay, so there it is. I already have it, so this is it. And as you can tell, this is the shortest part of my hair, so that means I'm doing the right thing because it's the same as before. You already know we're in a good moment right now. My suggestion is take your time to do this first triangle. This is going to be your guide from everything else, so take your time, don't rush yourself in this. Make sure you have it as even as possible. Cutting your own hair is pretty stressful, and a bang is very, very stressful, so just take your time. Make sure you do it as good as you can. When I put it as if I have a bang, it's not very thick, like it's still covering my forehead, but it's not very, very thick. That's what I like. Not very perfect. That's my favorite kind of bang, and it's also the kind of fringe that's going to suit most face shapes, and it's also the kind of bang that is going to be the easiest to maintain and to let grow. Like if you're tired of the bang, you can let it grow, and it's going to be way easier to style than if you have like a very sharp. Hope that makes sense. Clearly this video is about how to cut your bangs at home instead of learning English with Valentina. This is where everything starts to get scary because it's the part where we actually take the scissors and start cutting. I'm going to put some bobby pins here just in case. I don't want to cut anything by mistake. So here it is. It's still out of the the main hair because just in case I want to touch up something, it's still there, but it's secure here. What we're going to do now is to brush it and to let it fall normal, naturally fall, like this is how it's going to look like. And you're going to start looking for your pupils. That's going to be your guide. Of course, at first you're not going to be able to see it. You need a mirror for this. Start looking for your pupils, and that's going to be your guide. And probably here. This is going to be the shortest part of your bangs. Of course, it's not like perfect, so you want to try to make this as perfect as you can, but the idea is that your pupils are your guide, and you want to take your time and see that it's perfect, like as perfect as you can, because this is where we're going to start cutting, so you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. I mean, still hair, right? Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's going to grow, but this is going to work, don't worry. And you're going back. So this is too much for me. We're not going to use this hair yet, so I'm not going to put it with this one, but I am going to put it behind my ear so it's not bothering me. Same with this one. And my pupils are around here. This is kind of like what you want to do. You want to make it as even as possible, both sides again. So here, here, and fix it until you see that you have enough hair in both sides. So as you can see, this is going to be the thickest part of the fringe, but it's also going to be the shortest one. Now we're going to brush it to the side like this, kind of like in a 90 degrees angle from your face. Brush it. You want to use a comb like this. The teeth are very small. This is the best thing to cut. So 90 degrees we're going to cut. And here is the trick. You want to cut this longer than you think you want it. If you want to cut your fringe here, you're not going to cut there. You're going to cut around here, because you want to have space to fix whatever you screw up. So it's better to go slowly. I always tell you this. And put your fingers like this so you have like control over the hair. And we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut like this, vertical. That is my cut. I'm using scissors that are just for hair. These are not expensive scissors, very cheap, but they're kind of new and they're also only used for hair. This is what you're going to be left with. We're not done yet. The next step is very important. Okay, so of course my camera stopped working and I didn't notice, but don't worry, I'm going to cut it a little bit more just for you so you can see all the steps. So what I was telling you is that this is the most important part. You want to brush it downwards, and if you're right-handed, you're going to start with your right hand. This is a thing that I learned recently. It's the same, it's just easier to explain. You're going to start with your right hand and put it like this. You don't want to pull it too hard, and you also don't want to lift it. So just normal towards your, like in your face. And you're going to turn it around and then replace with your left hand. You want to make sure that your guide is not like crooked. You want to make sure it's horizontal. If you're left-handed, then you do it the opposite way. And this time you're going to cut horizontally like this. And then you're going to start cutting. And if this happens, that you have like one longer than the other, that means you did it wrong, okay? But there's nothing to be worried. That's why I always tell you, cut it longer than what you need. What you're going to do is do it again, and what you want to be left with is you want both sides to be longer than the middle part. That's probably because your guide was wrong, but you can still save it. So you turn it around. And here's where we cut. I'm not going to cut a lot because now it's getting very short. And what you're going to do now is you're going to twist it again, and you're going to start cutting with your scissors through the hair. So vertical through the hair. And that's what's going to make your hair piecey and like, I don't know, like it's not just cut. And there you have it. Right now it's still too like straighter than I like, but we're good. So next step, we're going to take a little bit less. So same as we did before, but a little bit less here. And this is going to be annoying because you can't put this behind your ear now, but it's okay. So a little bit less, and then this part, we're going to cut it a different way. I have a bobby pin here. I'm going to put another bobby pin here so it's not bothering me and I'm not going to cut it. And I have one of these, a little bit big, but it's okay. Remember to try to do it like as even as possible. And this, we're going to cut it 90 degrees. And instead of cutting like this, we're going to cut through the hair. So we want these wispy bits. And we don't want to cut a lot because we want it to be a little bit shorter, but we don't want it to be very short. Let it go, let this go, let this go. All good now. I'm super happy. I found a word that I was looking for. So when I say piecey, it's like more wispy, okay? So everything's good. We're going to part our hair in the middle so we can see what we're doing. I want to work with the other side. And I'm going to take this back. So not the one that we put the bobby pin on, the other one, see? So this is very long and this is very short. We want to make like a transition there. So what we're going to do is we're going to brush this downwards, and instead of cutting like this, we're going to cut it, but we're going to start pulling the hair to the opposite side diagonally, and we're going to put our fingers diagonally as well because this is our guide to cut. And we're going to use the longest part that we see here of our fringe, and that's where we're going to cut. And this is not going to be like perfect, but it's going to give us a guide. You want to cut diagonally and not shorter than that. Cut. And now when I put it down, you see it's scaling from short to long, and it's not as drastic. But of course it's not, you can still see that it's short and then long. But we're going to fix this in a moment. Same thing, put it like that, and then you're going to cut through the hair. So you're going to make that cutting the hair vertical and not just horizontal. That way you're going to have a more wispy kind of thing and not just a cut like that. And that is all. We're going to the next one. And with this one is a little bit, it's not trickier. It's just you want to make sure that you are cutting the hair in the same length. So same thing to the opposite side, diagonally. And cut longer than you need again. See? Now I can like make sure they're in the same length, which they are. But now I have to be careful with this side not to cut it a lot when I'm doing the vertical cuts, because I don't want to go too short because they're already the same length. So same like this, and we're just going to do the vertical. And there you have it. Now we want to take off these bobby pins to have a look at how it looks with a little bit more hair. I love it. And I love these like short but longer pieces because that way when I put my hair up, I can still have that. So I'm going to clean this. My advice, don't do it in a place where you have a carpet. So I'm going to do that, and I come back and show you my final result once I brush it and everything, because right now it's a little bit too flat, and I'll be back. That's it, you guys. So if you also want to learn how I did these waves or how I style my bang, I'm going to leave a video over here so you can go and see that. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye!